It's crunch time.
Let's go!
Where Dirt and Sprague crunch the hot topics you want to hear.
What's the pressure? Don't sit here and act like there's no... We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
Hey, Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. Blazers had a second of a back-to-back last night down in the Bay Area, and I do want to take a look at them in the overall picture because I find it interesting, and the old clock is a-ticking, as they would say.
They're not winning anymore.
No, the winning has come to a halt in Rip City. I did want to ask, though, because it was one of my first glimpses. I've seen bits and pieces here or there, but it was my first look at a basically entire game of the new Golden State combination.
The Jimmy Butler Warriors.
The Jimmy Butler Golden State Warriors.
Steph is 2 threes away from 4,000 career threes.
Yeah, I got a push notification about that yesterday. It's a huge deal.
4,000
threes is a lot of threes. I feel like he's now doing to what LeBron is doing in overall points. He's doing to three-pointers where it's just like,
yes,
nobody's ever going to touch.
Nobody will ever beat
nobody's
it.
going to touch that.
I want to give credit too. I had to listen to Demers. I was doing some home cleaning, so I missed the first quarter live. So I was listening, and Demers finally has this point in his career where he has captured the bad thing is going to happen to us voice.
He knows it's coming. Here comes a Steph Curry open three.
Steal by Heald, over to Curry, and it's good.
Oh, so Wheels-esque. I love it.
No, but the home broadcaster kind of has to have that,
that's the Mike Parker, and a throw, and it's intercepted.
Nothing.
And touchdown.
We don't get nice things. You have to have that energy at times. And when Steph shoots and he misses, I'm shocked every time.
Yeah, they had a stretch there in the third quarter where it felt like Portland was making some inroads, and every time they'd cut it down to like, hey, they're within 5 or 6 after a horrendous first half, all of a sudden it's Heald 3, Curry 3, Curry 3, and you're back down by 13.
And timeout, Portland.
And timeout. What do we make of Golden State in the West and where they're at? Then I want to get to the Blazers coming up top of the hour. But the Golden State side of it was interesting to me we know that Jimmy Butler's a hell of a postseason player. Playoff Jimmy is a thing. It has been for a while, going back to the bubble and getting the Heat to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Steph's one of the greatest shooters, the greatest shooter in the history of the league.
Yeah.
They're very interesting to me. Right now, their first-round matchup would be against L.A., although the Lakers lost last night to the Nets. And so where do they go without LeBron? The standings are going to shuffle a little bit, but they could play anybody from Denver, L.A., Memphis, or Houston in the first round, depending on how the seeding shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Houston and you're feeling cocky and great, you got these vets with all these young dudes, you're having a great season, you're overperformed, you've got Ime, who is one of the best coaches in the league, you're feeling good, but I'm not trusting you to win a series against Memphis or Golden State or the Lakers.
Yeah. I
mean, the league does not usually go that way. Unless you have a Kevin Durant, a LeBron James, usually doesn't tend to go the way. Even Jokic, as great as Jokic is, we beat Jokic.
There was a lot of early playoff losses for Jokic.
So you kind of have to learn. That's what the league history tells us. So Houston, you don't want to play Golden State. I'm not picking you to beat them. The Grizzlies, if you look at the Grizzlies' advanced analytics, like just as a point differential, not that that's like an advanced analytic, they have the second best point differential of all the playoff teams in the West. Their net rating, their defensive rating, their pacing, they're an interesting team because it says they're good. But every time I watch them, they're in a dogfight. And so I don't know how much I trust, but they at least have that playoff experience. Now, if they can get Triple J back and he's healthy, that's a tough matchup for Golden State. The Lakers need Braun if they're going to beat the Warriors. And outside of that, I just don't think the Warriors have the depth to do it, but they certainly have hit a stride here with Jimmy post the trade deadline and now into the second half. I think they've won 5 straight games now.
5 straight. They've won 9 out of 10. They've been a very good team since adding Jimmy Butler.
It looks good. It's balanced. Their role guys are playing really well. It's been a good addition. But I don't put them in the serious contender category in the West.
Interesting. Well, they beat the Blazers last night. Let's talk about that side of the equation in the game. Crunch Time, as always, brought to you by our great friends at Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. Is the play-in flame extinguished after what happened last night? We'll talk a little bit about that. The lineups, what we saw. We'll dive into the Blazers to start the final hour. The mail sack's coming up at 8:15, so go ahead and get your questions into the fan text line. That is 503-864-6326. Loaded final hour. Don't go anywhere. Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.